good day, viewers around the world. Good day. This is Mark Godwin Iwe, and you are tuned in to our Friday morning program, SSM News Echoes. Today's World Affairs. So what we do on World Affairs is give international news updates to our global audience, and we look into issues affecting us from different corners, mainly also as Africans in diaspora. So you're welcome. Normally, I do this with my colleagues and coordinators from different parts of the world, but this morning I'm here alone, hoping I will be joined by my colleagues. But before then, we just have to do our thing. What we look into newspaper headlines around the world. What is coming in as at now is that Russia has launched some deadly airstrikes across Ukraine. Deadly airstrikes going on right about now in Russia, and sadly, nobody is talking about it for now because it's coming very sudden. So deadly airstrikes going on in Russia as we speak. Also on the news headline is what we hear from the Russian side again. The Russians have opened, they reopened their embassy in Burkina Faso. Burkina Faso is in North Africa, Central Africa. The Russian embassy has been closed since 1992, but yesterday it has been reopened. So the Russian ambassador to Ivory Coast, Alexia Saltakov, said he will head the mission in Burkina Faso until a new ambassador is named. And he said Burkina Faso is an old partner with whom they've had solid and friendly ties. So Russia is in Burkina Faso. We know Burkina Faso have suffered 2 military coups in the last years. Both coups have not helped the economy. Burkina Faso is also going through a lot of economic situation. But hopefully, Russia coming in now might change some things. So Moscow has pledged to deliver free grains to this part of Africa. We know Moscow has control over grain. Moscow produces grains. Grain is vital for a lot of food production. So Russia is going to go into grain supply to some African countries, and Burkina Faso is one. We know also that since Russia has been isolated for some time now around the global stage, it does a lot of things to cooperate more with most African countries. So this is it. These are what we are seeing on the news headlines coming in. Russia reopens its embassy in Burkina Faso. Russia is also launching deadly airstrikes across Ukraine as we speak. So viewers, you are tuned into News Echoes Friday morning here in Milan, Italy, and it's our World Affairs program. So while I still wait for my coordinators, let's go on with some other things happening around the world. We all know what is going on where's that place? I think that's Liberia. Liberia on Wednesday had a disaster. A tanker carrying gasoline crashed and tipped over in a ditch along the road in about 130 kilometers away from the capital, Monrovia. Now, this tanker was carrying gasoline, and as it crashed, people rushed to scoop out some gasoline, some fuel, and whatever they found in that tanker. But sadly, I don't know why our people don't realize this. You don't go close to a tanker that has fallen. You don't. That's gasoline, highly inflammable. So what happened was we had a situation where now the press is telling us, AFP is telling us 40 people have been killed in that inferno, that fire blaze. But some people are also saying it's more than that. There's a video going viral that we also have. It shows people running, and obviously that will spark off, and you could have fire burning up to streets, up to other buildings, everything that is close to that tanker gets caught up in that fire. So Liberia is having one of the worst death case now, with that tanker crash and people going to scoop some gasoline. So this is what we're hearing from Liberia. Also, we're hearing some other news from the Schengen country. As at this morning, Romania and Bulgaria, both members of EU, but not members of Schengen. Understand that the Schengen agreement, the Schengen membership is quite different from European Union membership. So, but anyway, Romania and Bulgaria have reached an agreement with the Schengen countries to join Europe Schengen area for free movement by sea and air from March 2024. Now, what that means is they still don't have the full involvement. They are still not fully involved in the Schengen agreement, but now they can have some movement by sea and air. So I don't think that means the transport, land movement is still not open. So you see how these countries work. They create this situation so that they can also check your membership, check how you react, how you do, how you follow up, you collaborate with them until they now give you the full package of your membership. So, but anyway, this morning we heard Romania and Bulgaria and now have reached an agreement to be in the Schengen area, and hopefully they will enjoy all the benefit. Now, what does that mean to be part of this Schengen deal? What that means is if you're in Africa, you get the Schengen visa. Now you can, if you probably have a visa from Spain, that visa also covers your movement at the point in time that that visa is running. That visa covers your movement also if you want to go to Romania. That visa covers your movement if you want to go to Bulgaria. So these are the two countries that have partially joined the Schengen agreement deal. Viewers, if you're watching and you want to be part of the discussion, you're open to give your discussion. We're here. I can also you can also call in number 351 055 9541 9541. Let's put it on the screen there so that you can make your call. This is Schengen Story News World Affairs, and we give updates on occurrences as it's happening around the world. So also we have the news that's coming from America. America is giving us something. Let me just put this number there. America is telling us that Trump cannot, more countries are now being added to the countries Trump will not participate in their voting. The city of Maine is a state. The state of Maine has also removed Donald Trump from the 2024 primary ballot of election. So the state of Maine is one of the states that has removed Trump. This makes it a second state that has disqualified Trump from office, from running in next year's election. So two states now. After the Colorado Supreme Court handed down its ruling, they removed Trump from the ballot paper also last month, Colorado. Now it is state of Maine. This doesn't look too good for Trump, but let's see if he will fight it over in the Supreme Court. People are waiting for the Supreme Court to settle this issue and also give its final verdict on this whole thing. So, but Trump is denying any wrongdoing. The people, the states are using to block him from being in the ballot paper. So he has denied that he didn't do anything wrong in January 6 event. He says everything that is done to him is meritless. All the challenges, all the legal challenges are meritless. That's his word. So that's coming from Trump. That's coming from the US. it says the State of Maine has stopped Trump from 2024 primary ballots. So yes, we go on with some other news. We've been talking about the situation in the Houthi attack, the Houthi attacking maritime shipping by the Red Sea. Now, what we're hearing this morning is that U.S. warship has gone in. So the U.S. warship has taken over with drones, and they are facing off with these Houthi rebels. Now, who are these Houthi rebels? The Houthi rebels are actually a maritime rebel that aligns itself with Iraq. They also align themselves with some Middle East country, and they say they support and they're in solidarity with the Palestinian people. The group has previously said it was targeting ship heading for Israel, following Israel force invasion in Gaza. So the Houthi rebels have been blocking sea transport, and that has actually affected world global business. So, but as at yesterday and this morning also, the United States have sent in some warship, and they are facing off with the Houthi rebels. The Houthi rebels have also, before now, have launched series of attack on ships, vessels carrying goods, merchant vessels that use that Red Sea part to move to the other side of the world, the Middle East. So now they are facing off. The strike is coming as the Defense Secretary of the United States, Lloyd Austin, announced that there is a coalition of formation among about 10 countries, and they'll be focused on the security at that part of the world, the Red Sea. So they've gone in with some heavy machines, standard missiles that are that has range of about 185 to 375 kilometers. And these machines could take out whoever it is on sea, whoever it is that is obstructing the sea movement. So they are up there, and experts think that some security experts says U.S. using this missile against the Houthi will aggravate this whole thing. That's what some experts are saying. But we think U.S. coming in with some formation of coalition could really stop this whole rebel activities at that part of that side of the world. So yes, we are looking at news echoes. Friday World Affairs. You can call in. You can make your comments, add to discussion. It's vital that we get briefed, we get updated on world occurrences. When you're updated on what is going on in the world, you stay less. You're grounded. You don't panic. You don't get agitated. Thank you, Dr. Godwin. We have Dr. Godwin from Russia, Moscow, Russia. Dr. Godwin, you're welcome to News Echoes Friday World Affairs.
Thank you so much.
Yes.
Am I audible?
Loud and clear. You are. Yes. Thank you. And you're coming right on time to give us some
Thank you, viewers, for tuning in.
Thank you. Yes. Thank you for tuning in, viewers. Yes.
We are a lot today.
Yes, a lot is happening. A lot is happening. I was just giving some stories. Russia has reopened its embassy in Burkina Faso. Do you know about that? That's like a good move for Burkina Faso. Do you want to tell us about that? Yes, go ahead.
Yes, nothing much to add. I mean, it's always great when countries are talking to each other, are able to establish dialogue, able to establish mutual trust, which is important in diplomacy and reaching any sort of agreement. We can see most of the wars that are occurring in the world is a failure of diplomacy, and maybe if not just diplomacy, but I think a failure of the foundation, the trust, which is supposed to be the foundation. They're almost in international politics today. You can go into a contract and pull out at any time. You can say, well, we pulled out. There are absolutely no consequences, especially when you are the top G, or one of the big geopolitical powers. So I use the word the top G, coined the term the top G. The rules are different for you. You can enter, pull out of the, there's not that deepening trust that, when you come to an agreement, you would stick to it even when it doesn't suit you. It doesn't represent your exact national interest at that particular point in time. So it's good to see them opening diplomacy, and of course, it's good for Africa-Russia cooperation because there's a lot to gain from both parties. For example, from Russia, you could gain the nuclear energy. Yes, we know we have energy problems in Africa. You could gain wheat, cereals. You
Yes,
could
yes.
gain,
The
yes, wheat,
the wheat
cereals,
cereal
food,
is poor.
fight
Yes,
food inflation. What about manure fertilizer? Something as simple as manure. We fall short in the amount of manure we need to be able to produce at the scale to fight off to ensure food security and fight off inflation. So we don't have enough manure. Russia produces this. And apart from the technical know-how to utilize our resources, so all these are just one of the very many. And of course, in the other way Africa can export is cocoa, is resources, is labor,
yes.
yeah, and also a lot of exchange in education that are going on, scholarships in both ways, mostly from Africa to Russia, not the other way, right? Because the level of education is significantly different. But yeah, opportunity to be educated for free in Russia and to gain some required technical know-how and skill set to be
Dr.
competitive
Godwin,
in the labor market
let me
is
let
so
me
great.
let me ask you this.
Mhm.
Burkina Faso have suffered a lot in coups. They've been having coups upon coups. And since September 2022, they've begun to distance themselves from France. And we know France, it's a colonial master. Now they are moving close to Russia. Do you see, like, is it a breakdown of the colonial masters era, and now a new collaboration, a new alliance with Russia? How do you see this? Because France has lost its hold, not only Burkina Faso, in most of these northern African countries. So what do you say about this?
Yes, I think that it's shows the degradation, or do I say the extermination of the remnants of colonialism and neo-colonialism. And I want to use the word neo-colonialism because it has evolved into a form of slavery in which you don't actually know you're a slave because you don't see the chain on your hands and legs, and you don't actually understand that you are a slave, in the sense that when the economy is engineered for you to fail, when you resources are taken from the ground that you live on, but the profits are not given to you, not even up to 10%. Where you walk and you till, and you have no guarantee of social net, no social security. You get
Mhm.
the crumbs. You are just for the predators a statistic, just a number. One citizen, one human life is lost in the process because, well, he has to live with so much pressure to fight poverty, to fend for his family, with no medical insurance, no social net, and with such kind of pressure, life expectancy can be too high. And and then obviously you increase the mortality rate. But for the predators who are taking advantage and exploiting the resources, it's just a number. It's just, if it was 1 million, it's now 999,999. And then so this is these are it's a good news when Africa has liberated from colonialism and colonialism, and anybody who wishes otherwise for Africa is no, it can't be better said, that person can be referred to a better term than a demon of the African people who wishes the African people not well. So obviously, there are measures. Obviously, countries would say, well, it's cooperation. We are cooperating. Any
Mm,
cooperation where you do not earn equal or
mm,
even gain the advantage for the resources that belongs to you, it is not cooperation, it is
cooperation.
predation, it is slavery, it is colonialism. So whenever you sell anything, whether it's oil, whether it's cocoa, for
Mhm.
2 naira, and then you buy from that same person any good for 10 naira, then what you are actually doing is you are allowing yourself to be exploited. You should ask that person, well, come on, I need to sell you something that generates 10 naira. So maybe I should get, 5, something a little bit fairer than getting just 1 naira and then you get 10.
Okay. Thank you very much. Viewers, you're tuned into News Echoes Friday morning, 2 days to the end of the year 2023. And I'm here, Matt Godwin Iwejuan, with my coordinator, brother Godwin Ibe. Dr. Godwin, can you give us update on this occurrence? Yesterday, we had the body of a pro-Putin politician, Veldmar Uguru, a 46-year-old man. He was found dead. The story is he fell from a third floor building. And this is an occurring thing that's been happening with some of Russia's high-profile politicians. So, what do you want to give us the real story from your end? Um, what's that thing? The man, people falling from building. Somebody jokingly said maybe it's too much of alcohol in them. I don't know. Is that true? Maybe
Um,
too much of alcohol or something.
Well, what I would say is that I don't know what it is. First of all, I don't know if it's an assassination, if it was suicide, if it was murder, just mistake. It's still under investigation, and I think we should wait for the investigation to be complete before we draw some conclusions. But speaking about the series of deaths,
Yes, yes.
I think, yeah, but focusing on series of death, obviously any series of death is questionable and should arouse interest, and it's fair to ask those kind of questions, and
Hmm.
I support that line of questioning. But at the same time, it's political assassinations are not limited to any particular country. Yes, we see political assassinations around the world on a daily basis. I mean, well documented in Eastern Western publications. Only this year, we've had a lot of political assassinations, both in the West and in the East.
Okay.
Whether it's people disappearing, or people killed, or people just cancelled for their views. There are all different levels of assassination, or people barred from running from office based
Mhm.
on fictitious and bogus claims. This is all
Claims.
part of political assassination. I mean, if your bread is taken away from you and you can't eat,
Mhm.
it's equal to political assassination if it's for a political reason. The
That's
person doesn't have to be dead, like in Nigeria. We like to celebrate burials, rather than birthdays, spend more on burials rather than birthdays. So, yes, it's unfortunate if there's if it's a political
yes.
assassination, but I think we should wait for the results
Uh,
of the investigation
yes,
process to
because
come.
we have quite some. There are some images. Some they sent to me. We have images of some of the people that had similar, falling off the building, um, falling off from the wall. That's one of them. That's I think she's called. Um, I think she's the vice president. She was one thing in the organization in the REM. Then
Mm.
we also had this officer. Um, Also, he fell off. He is chairman of the Russian giant, the oil giant, Lukoil. And the
Look
story,
oil, look
yes.
oil. Mhm.
We also have another lady again, also falling off. We also have this one was the one, and all this happened this year. So it raises a lot of talk. The same way falling off the cliff, falling off the building, and you begin to wonder. So, but jokingly, somebody put it that I think maybe they got high or something, and they keep
But
falling off.
but you see, yeah, I want to say something.
Let's
Just
welcome
add
George.
something.
Let's welcome George
Uh,
before we continue. Sir George,
Sajid, welcome, welcome.
Good morning. Good morning.
welcome. You're welcome
Let,
to.
let,
Yes, go ahead. Say what you want
yeah,
to say.
let me add something quickly. This particular person was a leader of one of the regions. I do not remember the region now. But he was actually convicted of um giving out rent to businessmen. I mean, renting out government property without taking rent. And I think his sentence was suspended because of the statute of limitation. And he ended up getting into office again and becoming one of the richest people. I think, according to Russian publication, he had an income of 9.1 million rubles, one of the richest politicians at that point in time. So based on that background, we could say he has a lot of business connections. Obviously, he will have enemies, and he will obviously have enemies, but it's not enough to draw a conclusion. It could be alcoholism, it could be a mistake, it could be political assassination. It's
Yeah,
not
let's take
enough.
it.
There's enough to say. Yeah.
Thank you. George, you're welcome. George, we've gone a little bit further. I was all alone, and Godwin joined.
Yes.
But from your corner, we would like to hear what's happening. Trump, 2 states now have removed Trump from the 2024 ballot election for 2024. This morning, last night, it was the State of Maine. What do you have on that, George? That's close to you. What's happening?
Yeah. Actually, Maine just
Maine.
the state of Maine just actually said that he's not going to be able to enter into their ballot. Joining Colorado, one more state actually, I think it was Chicago or somewhere around there. So kind of dropped and said no, that they can run. Well, I mean, this is just is crazy. I would just I mean, usually we tell you what is going on, but I just wanted to ask a question. If it was Obama who did half of what Trump did, would he be able to even mention his name in America, talk less of trying to run again? If he did this thing in the first time, lost, and then coming back again.
But George, Trump says he didn't do any of this.
Hold tight. Whether he says it or not, whether he says he's not, what are you expecting him to say? The man is a liar. Unfortunately, he's an ardent liar, and that's what he does very well. The unfortunate thing is that the people died in that particular January 6th that took place. Lives were lost, but also, unfortunately, it's looking likely that he's going to come back. It's looking likely that he might come back. But I tell you what, in the law in America, it is a sad day if that takes place, because outside world do not really understand who this man is. He tells you what he's going to do, and he will do it. And that if Trump enters into America, then there will be a collateral damages when it comes to the law and everything else that will take place. You can mark my word on that one.
So the state of Maine has officially removed former President Donald Trump from the state's 2024 primary ballots, and it comes in a decision based on what they call the 14th Amendment, insurrectionist ban. Insurrection is banned. So the man has been banned. So maybe more states will join this whole thing. Colorado did last week.
Yeah,
Now
Colorado Supreme Court. Can I add something?
Okay, go ahead.
I respect Sir George's view, and it's not a key. It's not a key issue for me. I prefer the Americans do what they want. But what I would like to say is that he's innocent until proven guilty, right? I think that's the premise of American system of constitution. That's number one. Number two, why can't America trust the collective intelligence of the people? I mean, let the people see everything and decide. I mean, if they say, well, this guy is gone, let him go. Just put it on the ballot. Let them pick. Let them make their intelligent, they are smart people, they are not imbeciles, they are not, they have the mental capacity to look at the resume of the candidates and say, well, I'd rather pick this or pick the other person. Sorry, can I just finish?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. Okay, and I personally like looking from outside. I see that when Trump is there are less wars. He might have called Africa a shithole country, but his policy don't create the wars that cause inflation. That some even Democrats agree. Like, for example, Democrats agree that when Trump was in office, America gained 7 million jobs, for example, right? Democrats agree this. I mean, there's no doubt because of public statistics. They agree that middle-class family had an increase in their average income. They agree that unemployment rate reduced to reach 3.5%. They agree that jobless claim was less. And the less wars, the less involvement in external politics and focus on America was what many people in America agree that occurred during Trump presidency. So me looking for outside, I have no interest, like core interest in that, but I see that the guy actually thinks more about America than any other person in the world, not even Africa. He's focused on America. And then secondly, the American people are smart.
What we are doing here is listen. What is going on is what is going on is this. You can do all these analysis and put all those things together. Do not forget what happened during the pandemics. Number one. Number two, the economy of the state of the United States of America today is much better than it was during Trump's era. That is number two. Number three, also, if you know what that man represents when it comes to like African countries, when it comes to the people that are supporting Trump are those who believe that America belongs to white folks and everybody else ought to be out of that place. You don't understand what black folks and other colored people are going through in that country. He's giving them the impetus to hold tight. Let me finish what I'm saying. Because what happens is what you guys hear is, and somebody coming from like a country like Russia will not understand that. The reason being because of the way, the type of government that that Russia is operating. They will not understand that. Because when it really comes to democracy, it's just like what you're saying right now. When it comes down to next year's election, we already know who's going to win that election. And we already know there's no contest to anybody. The man will get up there and he will rule again. The man is, he's an emperor of Russia, whether we like it or not. Whether we want to try.
Let's not go back to the Russia thing. Gentlemen, listen, the discussion is getting very tight and interesting. And viewers
let's go on a break.
George, I want to say to George, George likes to talk with facts and figures. But this time he's just saying this because he says the economy has improved. I'm yet to see that
after the pandemic. Inflation
is low. Because Godwin gave us the figures, and that's true.
I want to also add. That he also cut business tax rate by 35%. This is good for black and white.
Okay, gentlemen.
Irrespective of your skin tone.
Let's come back and continue on this. Different views. Viewers, you're tuned to Friday News Echoes World Affairs. We'll be back. Thank you, gentlemen. Thank you.
A year ago, I wrote a book titled The Final Solution, and I was trying to say to the rest of the world that there are challenges ahead. Now, a prophecy did come, and that prophecy is coming to pass. But I'm telling you, the final solution has been found many years ago in the Bible, because the Bible simply says righteousness exalts a nation and sin is a reproach to the people. So I want you to know that we can get solutions to problems in Ukraine, in Russia, in Nigeria, indeed all parts of the world. We need that solution, and the solution is straightforward. Please get a copy of my book. It's the Final Solution by Bishop Schengen Johnson, and you can find it in Kindle, in Amazon. Just type Bishop Schengen Johnson, The Final Solution. It's very, very small book you can read within 2 hours, but it contains the final solution. Do get a copy. Not getting it is doing disservice to humanity. Don't forget The Final Solution.
Hi there, I'm Mary Keurig, and I am a businesswoman in the United States, but I'm also the Global Content Vice President for the Sub-Saharan Open University in Nigeria. I could not be prouder to work with Dr. Osita Anamika and his team on helping to create not just entrepreneurs and skill-based talent that will get out into the workforce and make a living for themselves, but also young leaders. And to that end, with this integrity-rich university environment that's accredited now, and it's just an amazing opportunity for anyone there of any age to jump on board and learn, we want to let you know about a new offering that we have. We have a global governance and diplomacy course now provided by a whole team of people that crosses several countries to put together these resources and lots of great information for those of you who might be on the path toward public service and diplomatic service, NGO leadership, that sort of thing. We hope that you will walk through this open door and enjoy.
Viewers, you are tuned on to Friday's News Echoes. We're back with you today, the 29th of December, 2 days to the end of the year. And we're excited. We're happy. Viewers have been following us all through the year in our news updates. Dr. Godwin, Sir George, you guys are doing well. One of the updates I gave before you came in was something that happened in Liberia. Liberia had this very serious incident where people went to scoop 40. The number is 40, but some media homes are saying it's more than that. 40 people went to scoop oil from a fallen tanker, and while they were doing that, I don't know if you saw the video, it went viral. While they were doing that, boom, the thing sparked off and took many of them out. So the thing now is, can Africans understand? Why do we have this occurrence every time in most part of Africa, Nigeria? There was this time in Jesse, a town in South Nigeria, Delta State. It took up almost the whole village. And we've had it in, I think we've had it in Ghana. We've had it in so many parts of Africa. Can Africans understand that gasoline, fuel, and all these things are highly inflammable? Dr. Godwin, let me start with you. How do you see the incident in Liberia?
Like a dialectical attitude and religion are two problems in Africa. We know that because what we see in Liberia, you can replicate it to so many other countries, even in diaspora where Africans are, and you see the same pattern of not knowing when to separate secular life from maybe religious life. I give you an example. We in Russia to provide for the socio-economic development of our members and to provide a safety net, to provide medical insurance for our members. And then we do it like in batches. So when we get a batch, we try to process it. We want everyone to be able to receive health care, medical care for free, and they'll give them a very wide coverage, for medical insurance. And when some people, even after they are convinced with hard toil to join the insurance program, so they are covered, they can call like after some days and say things like, sorry, Chemo, Mr. Chairman. I have realized that my problem is not physical, it's spiritual. Or somebody can call for a refund and say, on consultation with his pastor, he decided that he shouldn't test God. Yeah, this kind of religions. Or someone who is in Russia has access to medical care for free could say, and well, I want a refund because I'm going back home. I've decided to solve my problem in Nigeria spiritually once and for all. These are the kind of things that if you're hearing this, if you're not in Africa, you think it's a play, like it's a drama, it's for a film. But this happens in real life. So I can really relate. And when people don't take safety precautions because they believe, well, they've prayed, God is on their side. And the decay in maintenance, we know how to commission projects, but generally maintenance is a problem. And when there are maintenance problems, it also increases insecurity because things can fail, moving parts can unloosen or unfasten. And these are just general picture of things in Africa.
So you're saying these people say they've prayed and now they've come in to scoop oil and something they know that will blow up the whole place. George, did you see that thing in Liberia? Sorry, Godwin. George, did you see the situation in Liberia on Wednesday? People on top of a tanker, a gasoline tanker, and scooping oil, not knowing that is highly.
They know. They just don't think it will be this time. They know.
George, we'll be having this occurrence in Africa. Go ahead, George.
It's so sad. It's very, very sad when you think about it. Number one, why do we continue to have these tankers fall? It's because of bad roads. That's where we're going to start from. Like Dr. Godwin was saying, we don't know how to maintain our infrastructure. We don't have a maintenance mentality or behavior. Number two is weaponization of poverty. Because if people, if the welfare of the country is equally shared among people, I don't think people will be so desperate to the point of not even caring about their lives to go and start scooping oil. Even if you read that story, the driver was telling them, stop trying to poke a hole, because they were trying to poke a hole in the tank in order for the fuel to start coming out. So these people, it's almost like they, I gotta get what I have to get right now, or because of the economic condition of the country. I don't think anybody who got a good job, who is working with good, have good earning, will just stop their car and want to go over there to buy fuel. But yet, I think it's a function of ignorance. The third thing is a function of ignorance, because if people are well educated, well enlightened, and they read the news in Nigeria, they read the news somewhere else where stuff like this has happened in the past. When it's happening again, you see people run the other direction. But that's not what's happening. They're running into death. And I can guarantee you, they go from house to house now, counting people to see those, whether, it's more than 40. I believe, it's more than 40 people that died.
Yeah, it's more than 40. That inflammable kind of casualty, it takes whoom, it eats up the whole place. I mean, that we've seen it happen in so many places. It's obviously more than 40. The 40
is a lucky figure. It's a very conservative figure.
Oh, yeah.
Not
Yeah, it
for
is.
where you have crowds around an inflammable tanker. It's too conservative.
Gentlemen, let's come now to more bigger situation also. There are drones now, and warships are moving in. America, with some coalition of about 10 countries, are now facing off with the rebels, the Houthi forces that have been blocking global movements of from one end to the other. And I saw a video of them how they come on ship, the Houthi rebel. Now, this Houthi rebel say it's in solidarity for solidarity and support for the Palestinian people. But do you block business? Do you block world global business that helps the humanity as a whole because you're trying to sympathize with a group of people? I don't know. Dr. Ibe, how do you see? America has stepped in. Strikes are going on now. They are trying to stop that thing happening at the Red Sea, the Suez Canal, and the movement by that place when cargoes carry goods from one corner to the other. So how do you see that? Is it a good one, or do we allow them to keep wrecking ships and stopping cargo movements?
You know, it's very naive to think that you can fight a guerrilla warfare indefinitely. It's very, it's megalomania to think you're so powerful that you can just go in wham and extinguish a very well determined people who are actually fighting for what they believe in and what they really believe in, not what they are told to believe in. You know, in the world of drones, you know, you can make so many drones for, you know, a drone can cost less than $1,000 military drone, or, you know, you can make a whole unit for less than $100,000. But one missile defense, you know, can cost upwards of $2 million. Now we can say, well, America is richer than them. So, but you know, when you see the ratio, the cost ratio, you have to keep sustaining that ratio, which is very expensive for taxpayers. I mean, you can't go on indefinitely. And history tells us that interest in war, it peaks, and then at a point, people just lose interest. And when it keeps on going, people just continue to die, just like the Vietnam War. Yeah. At first, you know, despite all the false narratives that the US was winning, the cost ratio was, the debts were piling up and was increasing high until when the debt to GDP ratio, you know, became unbearable, and then whoop, they just pulled out. Yeah. And then all of a sudden, the news start coming out that there was a lot of collateral damage. We saw the same thing in Afghanistan. There was good news from the people that come to testify in the Congress that, oh, everything's going on fine. There's absolutely no issue. You know, the allocated funds are well utilized. And then all of a sudden, whoop, you know, and then people falling out of planes, haphazardly rush out. You know, it's you know, you can as well tailor your propaganda for your audience, but you understand that when people are fighting for survival and you are fighting for economic interest, there are two different levels. And when they're using tools that are guerrilla warfare-like, and you're using very expensive, complex, advanced equipment, the cost benefit ratio is definitely different. Now, concerning the main issue that they're fighting for, I mean, the Israel, Gaza, Hamas, you know, I've made my point very clear. I condemn all forms of murder, killings, you know, but we have to understand that this didn't start in October 1st. And people who still talk about moral equivalence and all that stuff, I like to talk about human equivalence. Every single life is important.
Equivalence. Thank you very much. Your take. George, the U.S. Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin said this strike is coming because the Houthi people launched about 100 attacks on against different commercial and merchant vessel that goes through that part. So, do you see this as this whole thing that is coming to an end now? There won't be any more situation in that part of the sea.
There is going to be a continuous situation in that part of the world because of what they believe in, like Dr. Ibe said. But in my own estimation of the Houthis coming out to fight against, say that they are fighting against all the ships that are taking things to Israel, but disrupting the international market, not understanding that, the world at large is being affected by what they are doing. It's almost like, the Hamas going into Israel and killing about 1,000 plus people and kidnapping, taking hostages. And now, what is going on over there? How many people have died? And this is just that situation that we are talking about. Okay, Iran is supporting you guys and giving you drones, but you're dealing with countries. Recently they have seen how many countries in the UK, Canada, France, Bahrain, Norway, Spain have joined. Other countries might join too. And what's going to happen at the end of the day is they continue this and they're going to find a way to eliminate them. And the leaders are going to be sitting somewhere pretty, giving orders, and these young people are going to be dying in the sea. It happened in the past when some Ethiopians started fighting some of these international vessels that are taking things out. And that is really, the problem here is they do not consider the collateral damage that is going to happen between what they're doing and the consequences that come after. And that's what's happening in Palestine right now. Everybody's crying out and crying, okay, we should stop. I'm crying out too. Please stop killing innocent people. But also we have to blame the Hamas, who mingles themselves into the communities and using, human shield to protect themselves. So these are the things that are happening. So anyway, I believe that they're going to be eliminated. It's going to stop very soon. As much drone as Iran can supply them, there is more military logistics coming from different parts of some of these other countries that will join together. And that's what I believe.
Thank you very much. Okay, Dr. Godwin.
Let me just add one very little thing. It's always good to look at history to be able to project. Yeah, Al-Qaeda, are they eliminated? They were blamed for being the culprit of 9/11. Are they eliminated? You eliminate one leader, then there's a new one. Are they eliminated? No. Is ISIS eliminated? No. Is Boko Haram eliminated? No. Like if you look at the history, you can huff and puff. You will never eliminate them. You may weaken them for a while. Fine. You may kill a top leader. Fine. But you never. There's never history. History has never shown.
The point is, who are the ones that are dying, though? Who are the ones that are dying? Because when we think about common, lives that are being lost, when you talk about lives that are being lost, it's just like
I agree with you. I agree with you. The lives. I'm talking about the methodology and the prognosis.
Zelensky is there. Putin is there. Their children are safe. Their families are safe.
I agree with you. The need to save human lives. We are in agreement there. I'm only talking about the prognosis. The huffing and puffing has never produced elimination. It has never, and likely will never. It's just historical, statistical fact. Huffing and puffing leads to no elimination.
When we begin to look at the bottom line,
diplomacy
is always the best. Diplomacy is always the best.
Strategic. All right, gentlemen. Our time is running. A fast one. This came this morning also. About 13 people have died so far in what you call fierce wind that has hit Argentina. So South America, Argentina is facing some intense storm and wind that has left 13 people so far dead. That's a situation we are following up in the other part of the world, South America. The city council said this morning that the situation is getting very, very extreme. Wind killing people. So I think that we don't need to go into that. That's not anything to talk about. Let's go into some business news. China's smartphone giant. I don't know if you know the Xiaomi.
Xiaomi,
yeah. How do you pronounce that?
I'm not sure I'm a professional in that, but I pronounce it Xiaomi, So I hope I'm right.
Okay. Anyway, they're unveiling their electric cars. They said by 2024, it will become, it'll be shipping around. I think that's an impressive move. If we could have more electric cars join up with Tesla, join up with Elon
Tesla, and
Musk,
bring the price
Tesla,
down. Yeah.
and some other brands coming. So we begin to reduce this whole thing. Some of them are saying that we don't believe anyway. The fossil fuel. George, what do you think? Chinese bringing up its first electric car to compete with Tesla. I think.
Oh, it's not its first. It's the company's first. It's not its first. China is. China is
Now
the
that
giant.
electric cars in China. Okay.
Yo,
Lord.
Lord.
They have a lot. They have a lot. That's what I wanted to say.
Okay.
I mean,
Just one
when
company.
they start producing, when they begin to produce for international markets, that is actually going to affect the prices. And also, you know, one of the major problems with the electric cars is actually the battery. After so many years, the battery will die. And if, you know, to replace the battery could actually become a very heavy, you know, all the money that you have saved in not buying gas, you will put it into replacing the battery. So I believe that them coming into an international market to bring cars with international standard gradually reduce the price. Say, welcome news. And now watch this.
Okay.
China is very powerful when it comes to businesses around the world. What you will now begin to see is they will begin now to go to countries and establish, you know, charging stations. Very, very soon. They're going to move rapidly.
Okay, viewers that are watching, that's a prototype of the car.
It looks like Tesla, actually. It looks like Tesla.
Yeah, it looks like Tesla car too. Yes, that's true. Okay.
You know that Tesla is towing all the lines in China, you know, trying to sell their cars over there, obeying all the law as much as possible. But let me give you just a statistical idea. We already talked about it before, though. China controls 80% of the solar energy market. For lithium battery, to be specific, what Sir George said, China controls 50% of the whole global. Yes, 50%.
And the source from
and just the electric car market, they control 20% of the whole world. Right? They are massive. They're not. Yeah,
no,
they're just. And when they
guys, let's go into other news just to wrap it up.
Okay.
This one caught my fancy. A naked party in Moscow. I know Russian and their belief for the conservative lifestyle. Now there was a naked party. Godwin, did you see that? Russians.
No, I didn't see. I saw the news. A
lot of them are being fined and jailed now. There was a rapper among them that was wearing socks over his genitals, you know, and there are other people. So some of them have been jailed. What do you know about that, Russia?
I know a lot. You know, that's one thing I love the Russian people for, is that when they do, they rarely do cancellation. But when they do cancellation, it's usually for something that is morally deprived, something that doesn't sit well with moral values. And this is the only time that you can see the whole citizenry engaging. For example, the lady who organized Ivleva, she's being sued by so many Russians, just random Russians. Just suing her to court for moral disorder. It's not the government suing her. The government have their own part. The tax authorities are interested in her and all of that. The government play their own part. But citizens are just coming out suing right and left for moral depravity. They say this is LGBT propaganda. It's not welcome in Russia. And it's an amaze. People can say black is black, white is white, right is right, wrong is wrong. And the whole citizen, if you have to do cancel culture, which I am against, let it be for something that is morally valuable, something that is at least something we all accept as cultural conservative values, not canceling somebody for refusing to accept a pronoun that doesn't exist, or for somebody referring to himself as a cat and refusing, the whole world refusing to see him as a cat. And so he's cancelled for that. If you must cancel, please let it be something that drives us forward, that saves the family the ideology of family, the ideology of moving forward together and growing together. Let it be at least something that moves us forward. And I'm very happy with the Russian people for being able to stand by what is right and what is correct.
Nice. This one went well.
Thumbs up, Dr. Ibe. I am so serious. I am with you 150%. I back you up on that one. And for that reason, prepare your room.
You should come to Russia.
I'm going to come. I'm coming.
George, on a serious note, yes, Russians are very, when it comes to this, I know this. Even Putin, he has that conservative mentality, and that's a clip of the picture there. Crazy picture. Madness in the club, and it sparked a lot. Americans are like, Americans like this kind of thing, so they say, oh, what's wrong with this? But we conservative,
not welcome in Russia. Not welcome.
We don't want this.
No, not Russian culture. Not welcome.
Gentlemen, we have to go. It's time. But it's been fun hanging out with you, and it's been fun with the viewers too. Viewers, thank you for tuning in. Gentlemen, you have to be with me on the 2nd of January. You need to do a recap of all events for the year. A recap. So viewers, if you're here listening, a recap. Godwin and I and BD did that. We've been doing that other time. A recap of all the events, everything that has happened so far in 2023. We're coming to give that rundown, and hope you'll be with us when we come. Sir George, thank you. Dr. Ibe, thank you. So
thank you everyone for tuning in.
Happy New Year to you in advance.
Yes, Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you in advance.
In advance. All right then. Ciao.